Hey everybody, it's Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and a very almost empty office. I've got basically a fan, my computer, and my desk, and that's, well, sorry, some chips, or crackers. But that's about it. So we're recording this show for Friday afternoon because, well, as you can see, we're moving our offices, moving our home since it's a home office, and going to start new on next week. And then next week will also be recorded because there's something going on. I can't. Oh yeah, I'm getting married. That's right. So yeah, got to do what you got to do. So being joined today by a really, really great friend of mine. We ran into each other before we even started networking together, and he and I have been working together for what, Trevor, about two?
Easily. Yeah, it has to be a couple of years because COVID's been 2 years, so pre-COVID.
Yeah, that is true. So, and Trevor introduced me to something that I had no idea about, and it's actually kind of funny because we've had an incident here in the recent past where somebody else didn't know anything about it, and it's ADA compliance for websites. Trevor, tell us, why is ADA compliance? Why is it so important for small businesses to do?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. The first one is we're in a world today where everybody is in a group of a various kind. The one thing I think that all businesses, and let's take it from the human side of it, is we don't want to negate somebody, we don't want to be prejudiced them, we don't want to forget, we don't want to alienate them. Whatever term we want to use, we don't want them left out from the main cause of what we're doing, the main people that we serve. So why that affects a small business? Well, it's going to affect them when you talk about people with disabilities. Now, when we talk about disabilities, I think the first image that comes into most people's mind is, oh, somebody in a wheelchair. I think that I just had a conversation earlier today and said, oh, how does somebody in a wheelchair need accessibility on a website? I said, being in the wheelchair is not the problem. The problem might actually be is that they may have other mobility issues, could be with an arm. Now, that might mean they can't use a very simple thing that we all take for granted as a mouse. They may need to use a keyboard. So what is a person who uses a keyboard, comes to your website, tries to tab across the menu, and it doesn't work? What they'd have to do? Ask somebody else to do it for them? Or maybe if you find a problem on our website, give us a call. Well, now you're being prejudiced because you're giving them a different service than what you would give everybody else. So why would you not make that website accessible to them? So when you think of disability, 25%, 1 in 4 people have some form of disability. They're all going to have a special requirement for how they interact with that website. Now, that's a great thing to offer as a service. Well, how do we serve everybody? This is one of the ways to serve everybody without making somebody feel different or disabled, because we don't like the term being disabled because we think we're less able to do something. Well, in this sense, you've leveled the playing field. I don't have to be disabled if maybe my eyesight is failing at an older age. I just want larger fonts. Maybe I have a color blindness. I just need to change the colors of your website.
That's kind of one of the things that I was just thinking of, is that, that's a great way for people to look at it is, none of us are getting older as the years, or none of us are getting younger as the years go by. We're all getting older. And I know for me, in my early 30s, I could see a street sign from a mile down the road. I can no longer do that. I can't see the computer screen in front of me without my glasses. And I need larger font. And that's one of the things that I think people really need to realize, is that if you can take, and if your font is too small, you are disregarding people who can't read that. It's a morality issue, one, but it's really also losing you customers, isn't it?
Of course it's losing your customers, because all businesses is based on one thing: reputation. How well did you serve them? What's that customer service like? Well, if we take in 3 out of 4 people are all happy, do they tend to tell everybody that they've had a great experience? And not unless you as a business owner reach out and say, would you like to give us a review? You as a business owner have to preempt that and request it. Now, the 1 in 4 that come along and say, hey, this website, they really address my needs. Who am I going to tell? Well, first of all, I'm going to tell all my able-bodied friends and family, 75% of the population. And now, as a family member, say, that's great. You know, Zach Clayton's website was compliant. He gave all equal accessibility to my person here who needs a special requirement. But I, with the special requirement, will look up and say, but I belong to a minority group, and I'm going to share that with my minority group. Then in turn, say, Mr. Zach Clayton, we are going to support him because people with disabilities, the fact is proved that 72% of them are brand loyal, immaterial of the brand name or the price that they pay, because they're being treated without prejudice. And that's what's so important.
When I first started building my websites, and I've always built my website until this last one, and I ended up having this last one built for me. I always wanted to make sure that my websites looked pretty, had the pretty graphics, had everything on it. And I never, ever once thought about, wait a minute, you cannot see the font, you can't see the words, you know, easily through the picture. You know, everything was kind of blurred in there, or the movement could really cause somebody to have problems with it. There are so many simple things when you're building a website that can really, really make things go out of whack with ADA compliance, isn't there?
Well, yes, ADA compliance, you know, the ADA, the American Disabilities Act, is an act about discrimination with people with disabilities. They recommend that you follow the WCAG guidelines. Now, those guidelines are up to version 2.1. Version 3 is due to come out later this year. If you were to go and read that, you know, you probably need a degree in computer literature to understand exactly what it requires. I think it's about 1,000 pages long. Well, you as a website owner and a business owner, are you going to read a document that just tells you how to put an image on your website? No, you haven't got the time. You haven't got the, maybe the knowledge or the complete understanding. Like, well, it's gobbledygook to start with. Why am I going to make it double Dutch just by adding an image? I don't understand. And that's unfair to put that on to business owners or people that are able to build their own website. Now, like you say, what does it cover? Well, it covers text sizes, colors, movement, sounds, keyboard functionality, whether you can move around the website with or without a mouse, alternative text. Some of these things actually help to rank your website with Google indexing and SEO. That is what a lot of marketers will come to business and say, oh, do you want better SEO marketing? Well, if you've done this with accessibility in mind, you've already covered about 30-40% of that SEO ranking scores that you can earn.
See, that right there is amazing. One of the other reasons why small businesses really need to consider doing this is because there are people out there who are headhunting, right?
So true, so true. This is why I didn't start on this part, because most people have only heard about ADA lawsuits because the website wasn't compliant, because they received a demand letter first, or they've seen in the news that one of the big supermarkets were being taken to court, or one of the pizza restaurants being taken to court because the website wasn't accessible. Now, certain states have more rules than others, but all of them follow the federal law. They all follow the same act. Some put more in and some don't. But that's the reason. When you come up to a demand letter, what do? Well, you can decide to do nothing. Well, demand letter won't go away. You get a court summons. You go to court and says, I didn't understand what was required to do. I don't think it's necessary. So therefore, I will keep alienating the small population that can't come to my website. Judge looks at it and says, well, you're not being compliant with the law. Therefore, you pay the demand letter and pay the damages that go to the lawyer and all his fees. If you're in California, I mentioned damages, it's the only state up now which has the rule called, they can actually pay out $4,000 damages for every incident to every person that comes to your website. So let's assume that you've got somebody that goes to your website today and says, oh, I tried to do the checkout feature and it didn't work. I told my friend who also has a disability and they're partially blind, they also didn't. And I also found out I couldn't choose the color of the item I wanted to pick or the size. There's another feature. Well, that's 4 incidences. This is a bill of $16,000 just in damages to the end user before you even think of getting into lawsuits.
And these aren't people who are, these aren't lawyers that are suing people because of, for the ADA, are they? These are just lawyers that are out there making money, which gives them more incentive to look for small business companies who are not following this, because they know that they can win, and they know that they've got, and excuse me while I say this, but easy marks, because people, they need to get a new website, they need to get it done properly, so they know that they're going to have to spend money. And it's, while it's not inexpensive, it's a hell of a lot more inexpensive than, getting fined.
Oh, for sure. It's the low-hanging fruit. Why go for something that's complicated? Why go for a large corporation where they've got a group of lawyers, but a small business owner may not even have one lawyer on retainer? Now, there's a lot of incidents down in Florida, one of the biggest states that gets hit. California and New York and Texas always getting hit with these lawsuits. And the reason it's done, I can tell you that one lady in Florida, in one county last year, raised 150 cases against her local businesses. Why? Because she was getting a kickback from the lawyers. Now, 150 cases with demand letters. Let's assume they all decide to pay out of court, because that's what we count as demand letters. I'm not talking about the lawsuits, just demand letters, 150 of them. 12% of those businesses closed in 2021. Why? Not mainly just because of the lawsuit, but imagine all the implications and financial burdens that were imposed through COVID, lack of business. This was like the final nail in the coffin. 12%, almost 20 businesses out of 150 closed just because somebody said, oh, I can make money out of you. Now, her, I don't know, but even if she's getting paid $300 or $400 per site, 150, that's an annual salary.
You have changed the name to Select Service from Charity Revolution. What was behind the name change?
I think up until recent, I've always been helping charities, and I still do. The reason I got into this was through COVID. I had to pivot slightly because most of my clients were putting time out with their mobile apps that we would make for them for engagement purposes. Nobody was fundraising, nobody was doing events. I was at a networking event, one of the first I went to, and this gentleman called Aaron looks up to me and said, oh, I love scanning your QR code, I like the app, but it's not compliant. And I said, excuse me, I don't understand what you mean, Aaron. What do you mean not compliant? He says, well, people with accessibility can't use your app. And I said, well, the one thing I do know about app making is that Mr. Android and Mr. Google provide accessibility features on their devices. So it's up to them to make sure that it works on the app. I went, okay, but your website here is not. I said, I don't know about that. I didn't make the website. Well, a little bit of a long story cut short here. I go and check and find out, no, the website is not compliant. I go to them because Aaron repeated probably about 3 times during that meeting, your client is in risk of having a lawsuit. And the last thing that they probably want to hear from you is that you've put their website at risk because you've exposed it through the app, but they're going to have a lawsuit because it's not accessible. What did I do? I went there, found a solution, which that we still provide today, which is really cost effective. But the point is, they were so happy because they said, well, we can't afford to do that because we got rid of our web developer. We can't afford to do this. When I told them the price, that it wasn't even going to cost them $1,000 a year, they went, oh, well, we can do that. I can afford to do that because we don't want to be closing the door because we want to help as many people as possible. So Charity Revolution started getting involved with the ADA compliance of websites. And as I was progressing through the year, I wanted to see, did people adhere to this thing that it's a charity thing or for businesses? Now, Charity Revolution, by its definition, relates to charity. Select Services, now, because I've been a marketer for 20 odd years, allows us to offer not only mobile app service, text servicing, QR codes, marketing solutions, but also compliant websites. And it just seemed the better name to use for the for-profit side of the industry as opposed to the non-profit side.
So I hear what you're telling me is that you just didn't have enough to do, so you decided to change it.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
That's,
you know,
that's
what COVID did for you. It gave us all the opportunity to do very little for a very long time.
Yeah, you know, some people say that they didn't have anything to do during COVID, and some of us just really got busy. So yeah, but
I got busy.
And okay, Trevor, people can easily find out if they are compliant or find out what they need to change by simply giving you a call, correct?
For sure, yes. There is a text service, which if you like using SMS text services, you can text the word audit 211, and the phone number is 833-556-0830. Or you can always contact Zach, and he has all my personal details. You can reach out to my LinkedIn profile or my email address. Email address is one of two, Trevor, Trevor, at charityrevolution.com, or even Trevor at selectservicesllc.com. Both of them come to me. But if you look for the Web Detective on LinkedIn and various other places, you can connect with me on Alignable, LinkedIn, Facebook. You'll find me.
And again, you can find all of Trevor's connections if you just go to communitypayitforward.us. Trevor is one of our very, very fine partners. You can find Trevor. He's in the very first category that we have on the computer. He's under ADA compliance. And what that is talking about, and like we said, we know that some people, this is new to them. But make no joke, they're like the first offense right now, they're getting close to $75,000, aren't they?
If it goes to court, yes. You know, how much is a lawyer where you are, and how long is the court case going for? There are, they say on average, between $75,000, $130,000 for a lawsuit to go through these days, which is why when most companies start off, they get the demand letter from the lawyer, and they say, well, here's your demand letter if you want to settle out of court. And they can settle out of court for 5 to 10 grand. Conditions usually are that they will ask you to go with their web designer to redesign a website. Again, how much does a professional website cost? 3, 5, 8 grand, depending on the complexity of it. So even out of court, you could easily be looking at a $15,000 to $20,000 bill. Well,
Yeah,
is there a cheaper solution? Yes.
yeah, very much so. And just make sure that you're watching out for yourself. Call 833-556-0830. Once again, that's 833-556-0830. Trevor, you and I also discussed a little bit yesterday that WordPress they have something on their website for ADA compliance, but it's not complete, right?
Correct. In fact, I think that was the Wix website.
Oh, was it Wix? Okay.
Yeah, so right. They begin with a W, and so is the World Wide Web. How easy is that to confuse people with? But yes, 10 days ago, somebody from LA knew about the UNRWA rule, said, oh, can you help me with my website? I said, sure. I ran an audit report, ran the report, give it back to them and say, these are the recommendations of how you can improve the website. There are a few other things that you can do. But, oh, great, I've been looking at with some of these people that can do it myself. I went, fine. Allow me to have a look what you've done afterwards to just see if you're up to standard. Go back, and he went, Wix gave me a template, told me what I needed to do. And I went, I didn't know Wix provided this service, so let me investigate. I go to Wix website, read all about the ADA parameters that they offer. And right there, they tell you they only operate to 2.0. That was about 2 years ago. We're on 2.1. So they're already on the old amount of compliance. There are new things that are going to be missed. When you read through the article, they actually tell you they don't support 100% of the WCAG compliance rules that are required. So when I ran my report, what happened? They still failed.
And, you know, I mean, it's really not worth it anymore. You know, this really can put your small business in jeopardy. So please make sure that you're protecting yourself. I know that there's a lot of times that it seems like we're trying to scare people into things, but we're not trying to scare anybody. All we're trying to do is make sure that everybody understands what is out there, that, you know, small business is easy to get preyed upon. You know, a lot of us don't go to school for all this. Most of us weren't in big corporate jobs or anything like that. You know, it's like, well, I can do it better than you can, so I'm going to do it. And we jump out full force and try to swim upriver. And well, that sometimes can get us in trouble. So please just make sure that you give Trevor a call and find out a little bit more. He's a pleasant guy to talk to. Looks a little funny, but he's a pleasant guy to talk to. And, you know, but he's it's a great time, great cause, and definitely well worth your while. And once again, he'll run a free audit for you. So if you don't have anything to worry about, he's going to tell you you don't have anything to worry about. You don't want people just to build a new website, do you? You want to make sure, you know, you want to be truthful with people and help protect them.
Exactly, that's what it's about. You know, we're hoping that by 2025, the whole World Wide Web would be compliant for people. Because if this was done properly right at the programming stage with web developers, most of this wouldn't come out. So there wouldn't be a need for it. Unfortunately, you know, the milk has been spilt, the horse is bolted, so we have to repair what we have. So it's not a matter of just trying to scare people, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to scare you. I'm here to help you. We will scare you, the lawyers, maybe even your next door neighbor. You know, if they know you have a website and they want to make a bit of quick cash and they team up with a local lawyer, you know, it could be that close to home. You just don't know. You know, the ADA website from the government, they actually have a form on there for people to freely report for free websites that are not compliant. Some companies say, oh, we know our website is not compliant, we'll put an accessibility statement out, but what you can do is call us and we will deal with those situations. Now, that fails in the law of the land of the law. Why? Because you're now giving somebody a different process to react with that website, because everybody else doesn't have to make a phone call to the company to say, I can't read that text. So therefore, that is a form of discrimination.
You know, I think it's wonderful how you put that's a form of discrimination. Look, when somebody comes to your website, the last thing in the world they want to do is do more work. They're coming to your website to try to make their life easier. If they've got you know, we all know what it's like to have to press 1 for, you know, the language you speak, or you know, press 9 for all this. You don't want to do that. You want to get on, you want to connect with people, you want to do your business and move on. So if we make it to where everybody, every time that they have to go on and do something, they've got to go through many steps, they're going to go somewhere else. So make sure that you do care about, and the truth is the truth. And we are in a very litigious society right now. People are suing people over the dumbest things in the world. Let's just bring up the McDonald's case where some woman sued him because she spilled coffee on her lap and said it was hot.
Yeah. Wasn't told as ice coffee.
Yeah, and it's just, folks, you got to watch out for yourself, and that's what we're here to do. Once again, you can get a hold of Trevor by calling 833-556-0830. 833-556-8030. And then, Trevor, what is your website?
Well, the website is charityrevolution.com. It will show you, if you go there, about what provide services we gave to non-profits. But if you look on there, there's an orange button on the bottom left-hand side. It just shows you what we do. We install a user interface, and you can sit there and play and change all the aspects that you want on that website. While you're doing that on your screen, it's great because it's only on your screen. It doesn't affect the website, doesn't affect how you designed it. There's no permanent changes. It's all done live via the cloud. So therefore, there is no real permanent change to your website, only to the user. And that's the benefit behind it, because it's user choice. And just to quickly recap, the phone number 833 is a text service only. So you would have to use the word audit 211 in front of that. But if anybody wants to call me, then I'll give you the phone number. It's 321-234-2627.
And I'm sorry about that, but yes, please just text audit to the number that I've given, 211, audit 211 to the number I've given you a couple times. But yeah, make sure that you reach out to Trevor. Once again, he is a community pay it forward family member, great friend of mine, real active in the nonprofit world, here to help guide you through all the steps and all the stops. If you need to talk to somebody about getting started, this is a great man to start with. So make sure that you get a hold of Trevor at charityrevolution.com. Trevor, I appreciate it, brother. This is the second time we got to talk in the last couple of days, and it's been long overdue. So, we should be talking more often, like, once a week.
We should. Yeah. Well, why don't we try and do that? Why don't we schedule something?
Yeah.
Maybe on a Monday, when it's manic.
Yeah.
But
well, you know what? Let's go on ahead and let's get into that a little bit. Let's get into charity collaborators. Why don't we go on ahead and tell people what you're trying to build there with charity collaborators?
Well, I appreciate that, Zach. Thank you very much. As you well know, trying to work with non-profits is a special breed and a special cause to do that. It's not everybody's cup of tea. What I've set up over this last year is we're building a networking group where people of like-minded feelings want to help non-profits to do better. Now, it could be that they are a resource, that they can offer services, or they just know other people who can help non-profits to do what they do better. So every Monday, we have a networking meeting that we'll get together. We'll try and find how we can help more people, invite people. And it's really aimed for those charities that want to do something local. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel for the big national charities. It's those small charities trying to find either information, how do they do something they're already doing better, where are the resources for certain people. It's about what your business is about, is building a relationship, finding a referral, finding a resource. And that's what I like to think as I am, is a resource, just as much as Zach is, because if you find people who are resourceful, they will give you something that you really need of value.
We have a couple of our other partners who are part of this, and one of them works closely with you, and you guys do something similar together, which is Z World Webs, Mr. Z. Yes. But it's not a competition. This is all about helping out charities. We've also got Mr. Tommy Bach, who joined us a couple weeks ago, and from Bill Pro. And these are people who are just really getting together, who have experience at something that deals with charities, that has something to offer to try to make the road a little less bumpy. I've been absent for the last couple of weeks due to other things going on in my life, but I am a proud member of charity collaborators, and I will be jumping back in here pretty soon. This happens every Monday at 2 o'clock Eastern, correct?
That's correct, yes.
So
And
you,
if you reach out to us, we can get you a link. You still got a link to sign up with. So again, very easy to join us. It's a group that's not open to everybody just to turn up and find it splashed all over Facebook or Eventbrite, because the idea is that you're looking for the quality behind people. And when you find good quality people, you don't want to be spread too thin.
and the truth is that we are aimed directly at nonprofit. And if your company offers something directly to nonprofits, you might want to come check us out. If you're a nonprofit that's looking for somebody to help you with something, might be a good place to get started, right?
Exactly. How much does information cost? Well, we don't charge for information. We try to point people in the right direction. Whether we can help them is a bonus. But, at the end of the day, if you can share knowledge and you come along and say, oh, I heard there's a group of people trying to help you. Because at the end of the day, who looks after the pennies? Well, the dollars will look after themselves, but we'll help you right from the very start. So every penny that you have feels like $1 for. That's what we're there to do.
And every single one of us understands some of the hardships that you have going through. Every single one of us has worked with charities in some form or another. So please make sure that you join us once again. Get a hold of me at communitypayitforward.us, or you can shoot me an email at zach@communitypayitforward.us and say, hey, I want to check out charity collaborators. I'll get you a link. You can come on in, check it out. You'll see if it's for you. We'll find out if you fit the guidelines that are have been established by the group, and it can really be a beautiful thing, because once again, it's people helping people who want to help people. So it's a wonderful program, and again, we're very proud to be part of it. And we've got quite a few of our other Community Pay It Forward family members associated with this. You can find a charity collaborator section on our website when you go to our verified partners. It says charity collaborators. You can find out all about it right there on the website, communitypayitforward.us. Trevor, give me your information one more time, and then we'll let you go.
All right, I appreciate that. But before I do, I'm going to say good luck with the move, and happy, as I say, you can't say a happy wedding, but happy future life with your new beloved, and make new memories and stories. So I wish you luck. Everything goes well for you for the future.
Thank you.
So you're very welcome. Very welcome. And if you want to get hold of me, of course, most people don't like to talk on the phone, so that's why we have a text service. It's called Audit 211 to 833-556-0830. If you do want to talk to me, then you can pick up what we call in England the dog and bone, the phone, which is 321-234-2627. But of course, I prefer the digital methods, which is things like LinkedIn. You'll find me as the web detective, Trevor Gibbs. You'll find me on Alignable. You can find me via my website and Facebook pages. But of course, you can, if you want an email, it's trevor@charityrevolution.com or trevor@selectservicesllc.com.
All right. Well, hey, Trevor, again, thank you very much. It's great to be able to catch up to you this week. And I look forward to getting back in touch with you here in a couple of weeks after this whole chaotic move and wedding thing passes by. But
that's a new chapter for you.
Yep. New chapter, new life. Not getting any smaller, just getting bigger, getting better. So
bigger and better.
Yeah. So, but onward and upward. So thank you, everybody. You've been listening to one of our pACT shorts. We've been here with charity collaborators, select services, Charity Revolutions founder Trevor Gibbs. My name is Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channel. Please make sure that you take care of somebody, because you know what? Nobody has to go alone when we all take care of each other. And just remember, man, if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. We'll see you at the next time on one of our interviews. Love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Zita's Healthy Beginnings World of Women podcast. My name is Zita, and I am happy to have you guys join us to this evening. It's November 29th, and we have a wonderful, great friend and mentor and really captain that we have the privilege to be celebrating his birthday officially tomorrow. But this evening, the eve of his birthday, happened to be our podcast night. So we wanted to use this opportunity to wish him a very wonderful birthday tomorrow, and also to have him share with us his journey and how he got himself into this wonderful ministry he's doing right now. It was actually through CAT that I was able to do what I'm doing today. So CAT is here with us, and join me to wish Kat a very happy birthday. And Kat, please welcome and share with our audience more about you. I know some people have seen you on different platforms, and you have really given a lot and still giving to HMP, to other platforms that are really doing good, wonderful things to make our world a better place. So please share with us what really, how you got yourself into this great ministry.
Okay, thank you very much, Zita. Pleasure to be here, and what an honor to be highlighted. Zita, you and I met through the Happy Neighborhood Project, HNP, Happy Business Networking, the happiest place in the world for business people, zip code HAPPY. And, you know, in regards to the business of my birthday, our friends over in the UK, and our friends over in India, and our friends over in Australia, you know, all these friends in the Eastern world, they're all seeing my birth date already. So we were starting, by the time it was 10 a.m. Eastern time, we were already celebrating my birthday because depending on who we're networking with in the world, and you say my birthday is November 30th, well, it's like to them, it's like it was a now thing. So it's kind of fun having this worldwide community. In terms of the ministry, I start with, I guess, first of all, let's establish myself as a practitioner of the Roman Catholic faith tradition. So I'm out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, USA. More specifically, if folks are looking for the geography, I belong to St. James Catholic Church in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. That's where I was baptized, and so on and so forth. My faith life grew from out of Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, northwest of Milwaukee. And so along with this, Catholic community, there's service organizations, including Knights of Columbus, and there's also Ladies of Columbus, which Ladies of Columbus is less popular, I guess, in most places, getting dissolved, but that Knights of Columbus organization is still strong. And I don't belong to the Knights of Columbus. I'm not a member. I'm not a knight. But my father was a Grand Knight, and same with my brother. My brother was a Grand Knight. So the Knights of Columbus serving now what we call our, people, community members with intellectual disabilities, which in disability services, they expanded to be people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And, so that's been something instilled in me all my life. And then we have also, at the same time, Lions International with the motto of "We Serve," and Lioness International. So my father and mother, so parents and grandparents and other relatives, members of these organizations. And on the Lions side, this is about people who are blind or visually impaired. And then I've never been a Lion myself either, never been a Lion member, but in my life journey, I ended up aligning with Optimist International. I got started in high school, where I wrote for scholarships, and I did get a Lioness scholarship. But this side of the story is with Optimist International, the local Optimist Club in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, northwest of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, USA. And so I wrote an essay about optimism. And they apparently liked my essay, and they gave me a nice scholarship. That was part of what I had going for me, going to University of Wisconsin-Madison for electrical and computer engineering. So this is bringing out that I have, a very analytical mind, scientific mind, and problem-solving type mindset. And also working in my life, throughout my life, I born into it. In sociology, they call it accident to birth. And so I guess I bring that out in my story because people who know me and joke around with me say, yeah, Kurt was kind of an accident. But that's another story. In any case, water skiing. I actually grew up in a water ski show family. As a little tyke, I was able to be out there watching my mother and my aunts do their tricks. My mother was known for her turnabouts, grabbing that ski handle and pulling on it and then turning yourself around on these long turnabout skis, no rudder, and she just spun around. And then my one aunt was known for, her one ski salute. So she'd start out on two skis and grab one ski and put it up, and then put the handle behind her ankle and hold that ski up. And, and then my other aunt was just a solid skier, solid on slaloming and able to, based on different tricks and so forth, and do flags and all this kind of stuff. So it was a great opportunity. And actually, water skiing is celebrating 100 years this year. So kind of in 2022 when I was going around saying I'm 50, I would tell everybody, hey, when you see me, you can say, hey, that guy represents half of the history of water skiing. So what we have here is my brother joined a local water ski team, west of Milwaukee here, just a little west of Menominee Falls that I was referring to, a community called Pewaukee, Wisconsin, and Pewaukee Lake Water Ski Club. And 38 years ago, I went out there to watch this water ski show. And I enjoyed it. And it was a thing that I connected, like, hey, I can join this club. I'm a water skier. I got an appetite for show skiing. So after that season, watching my brother, I joined this club. And at that time, I was 15 years old. And so I've been show skiing all this time. And it was just a handful of years after joining the team that they got involved in taking adults with disabilities water skiing. So this really became a concentrated experience for sure, people with physical disabilities, but this agency serves all people with disabilities. So this disability service organization, this agency, this nonprofit that I'm actually on the board for now, and I'm a board member of this nonprofit Adaptive Community Approach Program. And for decades, we've been having this annual event that we call now the Greg Wilkinson Memorial Waterfront Festival. And so a great day, a Saturday, the first Saturday in August every year. And so when that began, we co-wrote a grant for a sit ski. We obviously got the sit ski because we're still actually using the basic ski, the platform ski and the cage, we still use today. It's been refurbished and so forth throughout the time to keep it a safe ski. But, so this is something that we can do. And what happened 10 years ago is a community member that is a friend with cerebral palsy, power wheelchair user, great candidate for the sit ski, So the idea is what we do is we take a wheelchair user as they're sitting in the chair and we talk to them about, how they transfer best, out of their chair. And so with their help and, guiding us on how to best work with them to transfer, we transfer them to the sit ski. And then we lower the sit ski in the water and then get it all lined up with the boat and with a couple friends skiing on either side of them, and they go away. So the idea was 10 years ago, we had our friend come out to the waterway to do this in a show. So we do 20 shows a year as the Pewaukee Lake Water Ski Club. So on one of these nights with the water ski show, we had our friend show up to ski on the sit ski, and we had the sit ski out there setting it all up. And he's out there with his swimsuit, neoprene shirt, towel, goggles, water socks. I mean, he was more ready to water ski than I was, But what happens is two of our friends come over to me, and one being president of the club and the other being another board member, they proceed to approach me about this not happening. And this became a detailed conversation. It got very granular to understand their objections. And in hindsight, I culminated that to share the story, I say that they had 20 reasons why this guy ought not ski. And I didn't like one of them. So that's why I was so involved. But they were set to be against it. And the one comment that really gripped me was when my one friend said, well, if he skis, then everybody's got to ski. So that's kind of one of the takeaways from this conversation. And the bottom line is he didn't ski that night. And not only didn't he ski, the only one who talked to them, because she noticed that he was not being attended to in this change of plans, she at least went over to him and said, hey, it looks like you're not going to be able to ski. And she didn't want to get into the why or whatever, but at least he knew he wasn't going to ski. And it was just amazing that our other friends didn't even do the courtesy that I asked them to. I told them that they need to be the ones to tell him, and they just never did. They got what they wanted. That he didn't ski. It was just, so disturbing and disruptive, and disturbed my sleep that night. And it became one of these overnight experiences. So what I did is, the thing about my sleep is I'm fortunate to be a sound sleeper. I have all my life. And, but you have these nights where you don't, so yeah, I do get those nights, in rare times. And this was one of those rare times. So I take it seriously when my sleep is disruptive. And I have actually, my life said that to many friends or contacts. I'm like, if you're not able to sleep, just give me a call. I'll put you right to sleep. So maybe some of you are sleeping out there, But in any case, the next morning I asked for a conversation with my wife and daughter, and we got together as family, and we reviewed the happenings of the night before. And what came of it is that with this comment about, well, then everybody's got to ski, we ran with that, and we developed the Everybody Skis program, the Inclusion to Water Skiing campaign. And we set it up for our county, so the county that we live in, we set out to attract people to join this. And in doing so, we reached out to the Wisconsin Water Ski Federation. So when I told them everything we had in mind for our county, they liked it so much. I then was asked, would you have any interest in doing this for the Federation? Which means they're asking me to take it from not just the county, but for the state of Wisconsin. And so that's what ensued. And it really ignited a very pivotal experience for me, because it was majestic. I mean, it was something that in this process, the downhill alpine skiing, the snow skiers, were actually featured on television as I'm going through this process. And the recreational therapist that made it happen through we know her through the Independent Living Center, but this is a separate program that we call CWASP, the Southeastern Wisconsin area or adaptive ski program, CWASP. And so this was on television. And the soundbite that really got me was when she apparently they got on camera in this interview. One of the sound bites was, "This is the stuff that makes grown men cry." And I lived that truth, on the water skiing side. And it was just amazing. We have a friend by the name of Chad that he just knocked my socks off when he took up the challenge to go on a flyboard. Now I say flyboard, and for 99.99% of people, it means nothing. So to grasp what a flyboard is, I think a lot of people know about jet skis. So a jet ski looks like a snowmobile for water. And so what the flyboarders created was this experience made possible by taking like fire hose and hooking it up to that jet for this jet ski. And that jet propulsion from the jet ski is enough hydraulics to shoot a person up into the air that would be on a board, doing boarding, like there's wakeboarding and there's snowboarders and stuff. So people who are used to this boarding style of things, there's a flyboard that the hydraulics takes you 15 feet in the air. And so imagine being a paraplegic, and you have cerebral palsy, and you're being shot up in the air on the back of a pro water skier, but you're tethered to the person. You have paralysis, but you're using, your mobility to grip and like give a bear hug from behind to this pro water skier, tethered on, and this pro water skier is on a flyboard, and you're being shot up in the air 15 feet. And this is all on Milwaukee TV. And the great thing about it is when it aired on TV, it so happened that our water ski club was gathering after a night of skiing at a sports bar. And so we're able to see our friend in this news segment. And the idea is that he went up into the air and they had this camera angle which got the clouds. And of all things, these clouds were like Simpsons clouds, on the TV show, the cartoon animated show, The Simpsons. Those clouds that are used to brand that show. It was like, that's where he was. It was like he was with The Simpsons. And so I'm with the club and it's like silent in there. Like people are just like they couldn't believe what was happening. And I'm like, look at it. And I'm counting clouds. And I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it was, that's just one of the exhilarating experiences. In the state of Wisconsin, we have the world's largest. Well, first of all, Wisconsin is the show ski capital of the world. 33 ski shows in the state of Wisconsin. And so there's no place on earth like it with that type of concentration that you can come into our state and that you have that many opportunities for a water ski show. And so Chad that I was talking about, he worked with the president of the Wisconsin Water Ski Federation, and we host the world's largest water ski tournament in the world. And so what Chad offered to this tournament was to put on a demonstration of adaptive skiing, and they took him up on it. So now we're heading up to this tournament, Central Wisconsin, 26 competitive ski show teams competing there. So thousands of athletes involved in this tournament. And, we're up there to get him doing a demo. And what the organizer of the tournament told me was that he'll take care of talking to the show director. So as a show skier, what I thought he meant, and in the end of this, I was wrong, and it caused a problem. But I thought he was talking about that we were going to be able to use the club's boat and ropes and have skiers. I thought that this team that the show director was with was going to be doing the demo with us. But when I got on site and we were finalizing things and going through the run through of what we were going to do on the water, I caught on to that. No, that was not the case. So here we're up there with a sit ski and a rope for the sit ski and Chad the ski in it, but nothing else set up. And the organizer asked me if that was a problem. I'm like, no, that's not a problem. I flat out lied, folks. Just flat out lied. It was like that, oh no moment. But, the confidence that the disability community gave me to, blast through barriers and get me into a mantra where I call it barrier demolition. I learned so much about a can-do attitude from people with disabilities that now I refer to the community of people with disabilities as the masters of ability. And so what we were able to do that day is get into problem solving mode. We needed boats, or we needed a boat, we needed skiers, we needed ropes. Well, here we're at the largest water ski tournament in the world. It's like if Kurt Roscoff can't get this done here, it ain't happening anywhere in the world, people. So I just went around and I introduced myself. Hi, I'm Kurt Roscoff. The tournament is asking us if there's any way we can do a adaptive water ski demonstration. We do have a sit ski. We do have a diverse ability athlete to demo the ski. We got a rope for it, but that's all we got. Is there somebody in your team that might be able to see if we'd be able to work with you guys to do this demo? And I just kept doing that with all these teams that came there to compete. And by the time I made the rounds, I was getting feedback. Hey, we got some skiers who want to do that. That sounds cool, and then we had some skiers, and then, oh, if you want to use our equipment, if you want to use our ropes, go ahead. So we had, a team give us ropes, and then another team gave us skis, and, and then finally I got introduced to a man who brings his personal boat to the tournament, and it's called the Pony Boat. And a neat story behind it, and a sad story. This is a gentleman that lost his daughter in a car collision. And so he does water ski lessons in memory of his daughter, who was a show skier. So here she used to compete in this tournament, and she's no longer with us. And he carries on. He and his wife join in, well, still do the ski show competitive, but they also do doubles. See, his daughter used to be his doubles partner. So when they lost their daughter, the wife became the doubles partner, and they carried on doing doubles. And they also carry on doing water skiing with youth in memory of their daughter. And now it's just, you know, skiing for everybody. And I brought to them the principle of skiing for everybody, including people with disabilities. And so now we have an adaptive water ski thing. But when I got introduced to this man, he ended up saying he was happy if it helped use his boat. So what a deal. We're able to use the pony boat, and we had a potluck composition. And so I entered into training mode. These people never did this before. And so I had to really turn it up to be like, and this is a big site. I mean, it's probably like a quarter mile long. You know, it's like I'm walking back and forth to the starting point, to the showcase. And, you know, I probably put on a dozen miles that day to do everything I did at this tournament, including doing this demo. And we had the radio set up. We had radio communication, so I could communicate with them down there. We're on our phones as well. You know, so we had phones going. We had, you know, walkie-talkies going, coordinated this. And what I created was a 7-minute script, because in this tournament, there's a 10-minute window that is for teardown time, which is what we had to work with in the tournament. So I couldn't have my demo interrupting the tournament. So I created the 7-minute script to give a 3-minute buffer that we'd be in and out, and we wouldn't disturb the tournament. Well, in the end, this thing went so good. Chad went from the left to the right. The pony boat looked so great. It went around a couple times. Everybody was so excited to see, you know, a man with a disability out there. And just think, these are people who are proud to be a water skier. They love the sport of water skiing, and now they're seeing that their sport is including people with disabilities. I mean, this was a unifier, you know, with these thousands of people. And it went so good. And I asked so many people to get to that point. You know what happened after that? I had people who didn't know we did the demo saying, hey, you know, you were talking about doing that demo? We can do this, we can do that. You know, and then I'd go back to the organizer. I say, we already did the demo, but I'm being offered to do a demo. I think I got to go back to them and tell them thanks, but no thanks. But I want to keep this year's show. Am I going back and telling them we're all good? He's like, no, it went so good. If these folks are saying they're going to do another demo, let's do another demo. So we did another demo. And you know what? It kept going. You know, and then now I needed another skier because Chad was on his way home. I had a third round of that. You know, across the 3 days, we ended up doing 4 demos. And the funny thing is, originally when I was starting in to do this demo, we had contact who very well could have done a demo, but they just took a pass, like no pass. And I figured I was all set because the organizer was going to talk to the show director. So, but they actually were hearing about these demos, and now they wanted to do one. And so what happened is the organizers decided that it was a great thing for, again, to do another one and to do it while the judges were accumulating the points to come up with the winners, you know, to entertain or to showcase during that time. So before the awards ceremony, we did another demo. Went up there to do one, just about had the whole thing fall apart, kept the can-do attitude, ended up with 4. You know, and what this did is this created the attention that I was able to attract 12 people interested to bring this to their community, empowering their team to include people with disabilities, which then that grew into 20. And when we had 20 people, now they were really having the appetite to do something on an even larger scale. And we did a train the trainer in Madison, Wisconsin. And that ended up involving getting us to 80 people now. coming through that. And with that 80 people, and conventions and tournaments and activities, just everything just kind of spiraling. Next thing you know, 6 years later, I formed originally the adaptive water ski division for the Wisconsin Water Ski Federation. And then I passed the reins, I had a succession plan, passed the reins to another guy. And then that guy felt like he was ready to pass it on. We passed it on to this lady that I call the queen of inclusive water skiing out of Twin Lakes, Wisconsin. And she's still the director of the adaptive division, doing a great job. I don't think there could be a better person to do it. So you talk about the world of women, and I talk about this amazing story. A couple of guys did it. And, we're here today, gone tomorrow, but she's still reigning on. Her name is Susan, and doing a wonderful job. And she's got it to the point where it's institutionalized. With the Wisconsin Water Ski Federation, the Adaptive Water Skiing Division, that makes the state federation committed that the sport is for everybody. The federation operates that when we reach into the population of Wisconsin for the sport, it's the entire 5 whatever million people there are in Wisconsin. It's like nobody's excluded. And to take this knowledge commons and this combined resource, and it's just a thing. So that's what I'm doing at the Happy Neighborhood Project, is I'm trying to connect heart to heart, mind to mind, soul to soul, and let's really be committed for economic opportunity, business opportunity, professional opportunity, breadwinning, and all this stuff that you can build a career off of, inclusive hiring, to have accommodations in the workplace, like right now, Zoom. Zoom has, with breakout rooms, in the main room and breakout rooms, like right now we're using it, live transcription. How great that if somebody's got a hearing challenge, not able to catch all my words, that they're like, what did Kurt say? And then look at the box, closed caption. There's all these little things that when you put it all together, it makes what we call universal design. Now, universal design is really intended to talk about physical place and talk about where you can gather in person, how it works with like hearing loops for those who are hard of hearing and so forth, and things that accommodate visitors who are blind, and visitors who have physical disabilities, and sensory rooms and stuff for our autism community. And that's really where universal design comes from. But I take that concept and I use it more loosely to just say, let's just build this world in universal design that everything is for everybody. And if we, being people that don't have a disability, are challenged to do that, you know what? We have masters of ability. Just go ask a person with a disability to say, hey, I want to make this work, for more people. Can you help me? And then they share their life journey with you, or they take a look at what you're trying to do, and they have the expertise because they live with it every day. And that's what I learned through Adaptive Sports and Rec. In Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in 2014, 2015, we put together with the Medical College of Wisconsin, inspired through the VA, and a lot of other disability nonprofits got involved. We ended up having over 60 partners to an Adaptive Sports and Rec Expo. And there were 50 hands-on, involved experiences, like with water skiing. This was at a high school. And in the parking lot of the high school, I had my sit ski, and I had videos, and I had the equipment, and it was like a show and tell thing. And, people with disabilities could actually sit in the sit ski to get an idea and to say, okay, you're sitting there, now just imagine yourself going out in the water, being seated in there like that, and so there were 50 other renditions of that type of opportunity, adaptive kayaking, you name it. So this is just transformed my life. People talk about a transformation in life. This is it. And to feel like you're answering your call, your calling. I feel this is my calling, because I've assessed that there are anthropologically, historically, as far back as the human history goes, back to Adam and Eve, whatever, human beings have never had this conversation of, why are we not flipping the script? Why are we not putting people with disabilities in front? In the USA, there's My Team Triumph that is driven by endurance athletes. So the marathon runners, duathlons, triathlons, Ironman, and stuff like that. And My Team Triumph gets people with physical disabilities involved in these things. And in the state of Wisconsin, the Wisconsin chapter, which I'm guessing, I don't want to speak for other places, but I'm guessing this is a My Team Triumph thing. When they're working with a race, sometimes an organizer will say, yeah, they can just go right and back. Like they're picturing their lineup and now they're adding people with disabilities and put this My Team Triumph thing in the back. Well, you know what? My Team Triumph takes a pass. It's like, no, this is a program that if you want us, we're going to be in front, or we're just going to go to the next one. I thought, wow, that is bold, and that's how they do it. And it works so great, that when My Team Triumph is debuted for that race, that it's right out in front. And that's what I want for everything. Let's put it right out in front and let's showcase how you do it, like I did with demonstrating adaptive water skiing, because everybody wants to do this. The negligence is by accident. It's unintentional. It's not what people are thinking that they want to do. It's just non-existent. It's a void. So you can fill it by showing how the intention can transform into action. And when people are handheld through that, I've had nobody tell me that they don't want to do that. Not a one person has told me, thanks for offering, but no, I don't think so. Not a one person. Now, it may end up that somebody maybe ended up not doing it just because of time challenges, or, people are in different places in their life. I just happen to be in a place where I'm ready to go gangbusters, 40 years into my life. So I'm like, I get it. It took me 40 years to wake up to this. So if somebody is not doing it right away, I'm not disturbed, So I guess with that, I hope that my storytelling really said solidly kind of why I'm in this ministry. And I say ministry because to me, like right now in this Zoom, I feel I'm being joined by 5 other souls, and we're talking about something so important. And for sure in advocacy, disability advocates taught me about intersectionality. So when you start talking about LGBTQ, you start talking about women's advocacy, disability advocacy, racial advocacy, all these things, all these advocacies need to come together. So again, everything works for everybody. So with that, Zita, where do we go from here?
Absolutely. Geez, thank you so very much. I know a few people joined us after Kat had started addressing us. We are doing this podcast tonight to celebrate Kat. Kat's birthday is tomorrow, which in some parts of the world, they're already celebrating his birthday. So, and for those of you that don't know who Kat is, he is the captain of everything that I know of. HMP, even Zita's Healthy Beginnings, Word of Women podcast, you name it, Kat is there. He is also the captain for the disability channel and so forth. And as we were, talking, I just wanted us to listen to him, know a little bit about him. And I'm so really blown away by the way Kat has really gone, I know, the way he's gone, beyond what my expectation in sharing with us who he is, where his roots started. And one thing that really struck me while Kat was sharing with us was what family represents in our lives. That whatever that has been really put in us by our families, by our parents, for the rest of our life, if we really identify with those, it takes us all through life. And it helps us to also impact other people's lives. Because guess what? We are all born with inherent talents, gifts that are not given to anybody else except us. When Kat shared about his mom doing that, because I have really watched him on the video, and I'm like, I can't even fathom how he does this. And those of them that were doing it, I don't know how they did it, or even how they started thinking about doing something like that. But this is a gift. And he held on to it. Right now, I call it a ministry because look at where it has taken you and where it's still taking you, that for me, really, it is really baffling to see how a talent has been transformed to a national event. I mean, like, it took the whole of you, it took your time, it took family collaboration, support, and everything else, it even took community, and now you're beginning to kind of expand the whole thing to embrace disability in so many different forms, because that's what we are facing in this world. And our world, especially in the Western world, is like, if something looks different from what we call normal, it's not the same. We start labeling. We start doing all kinds of unusual thinking, mindset, brainwashing, you name it. And then as we do that, we start removing certain people in our minds, thinking that they cannot achieve certain level in our own, calculation. And Kat really demonstrated his ministry to me. When I really, I was a member of HMP for how many years, for how many months now. And at some point, the time I connected with Kat, which would be like in a week's time, it would be 1 year. I contacted him this time last year, and I said to him, this is my situation. I am really frustrated. I am an HMP. I love HMP. I have actually built a whole lot of relationship with people. I have even patronized people. I have bought their products because I saw that they had genuine products. And I said to him, I understand that what I'm doing is a nonprofit, but I still feel there has to be a way people can patronize me. Unfortunately, nobody was doing that. I said to him, really, I'm thinking about, taking a decision. I mean, what am I really benefiting from a group that I feel should be a mutual benefit? But it's like, for me, it's one-sided. And right there, I mean, Kat used his natural talent. He talked me through it. By the end of our conversation, we already scheduled podcast, the date, the time, and everything. I never had in mind of doing anything this kind of program when I requested for us to have that conversation. It just emerged through Kat's guidance. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what just happened? And 1 year into it, we are still here talking about it. So as we're celebrating Kat's birthday, I'm remembering, also first year anniversary of World of Women podcast. And God has really helped me to recognize the gifts in me and to know that I can bring it forward regardless of who I am, what I am, my background, whatever. He has really empowered me to admit that, yes, I can. And I know a lot of us are sitting there and wondering, how did she do it? I don't know. But if you have someone like Kat who can really hold your hand and walk the walk with you, you know that your life, you can accomplish the life purpose when you have somebody like him. So I'm so thankful to God for Kat's life, for bringing him and supporting him through his family to be all he's called to be. And today we're beneficiaries. And I'm hoping that even in the future, that we're going to do something more marvelous, like unlike what we're doing right now. And that is letting people know that, yes, they can. It only takes our mindset to be kind of changed for the better and know that, yes, we are all in this together. We are all gifted, no matter how physically or psychologically tempered we are, that we are basically children of God who are loved and gifted. So thank you so much, Kat. And the other question I was gonna ask you, which I know tallied with what you just, the second one you shared, but I would like to specifically want you to comment on it, was what kind of message would you give to men, probably women, who think sometimes that they have all these talents, they are called to be who they are, as well as empower other people, but for some reason, they feel that there's a barrier, that there's something in them that is not giving way. What word of advice would you give to them?
Well, I guess I want to start with something that I refer to pretty routinely. You know, I kind of crack open sacred scripture and we look in there and we know a story about our Messiah who is talking to disciples and saying, you know, what you do unto the least of these, you do unto me. So I want to examine that scripture, because to me this is the scripture in all of sacred scripture that I think identifies the human condition better than anything that I've heard in 51 years of life. And the reason is this, because when you think of a Messiah, you know, and you think of divinity, and you think of this concept like this is, you know, a verse, you know, like what you do unto the least of these. I mean, let's crack that open. Let's unpack that. Like, let's get into that expression, what you do unto the least. And we're talking about people, the least of these. That brings us to comparison. It's not divine to compare. I mean, that there are things like, you know, in terms of, you know, living a more righteous life, and there are these guiding things to like think of better, so that there is an insinuation of comparison. But to me, when I look at the 8 billion people on earth, you know, to me, if we really understand our existence, I think all the advocacies are all about that we're all equal. You know, and this is the things of like war and stuff like this. You know, it's because, you know, somebody is like impeding upon our ownership, you know, our imperialism and stuff like this. For is a revival on existence, to take a look and embrace 8 billion people on earth for who they are in existence. You know, I look at source. In our faith life, we're connecting to our source. We're talking about celebrating parents. You know, to me, that's where it's inherent in messages about respecting parents, because, you know, like movies are like PG, parental guidance, you know, and stuff like this. So whatever somebody's journey is on the parental front, you know, there is that piece of a life journey that accounts for, you know, what is empowering the person to be that all that they can be. And so when we talk about, again, divinity, and we talk about whether it's our creator or where we come from or whatever, I believe one way or another, however you do it, I think 8 billion of us can agree that each and every one of us is on this planet with unlimited potential. And we have a chance to make ourselves available in some ideal way by our own construction, you know, how we're plugging in with the other 8 billion people, because I feel we're all around the world like one unified organism. You know, so to me, this is in that concept. When there's suffering in one part of the world, wherever we are in the world, we're suffering. You know, so we all are united to deal with that. And it's like the human body. Like if there's cancer, illness, or whatever, you know, it's like, it's not like something happens here in our belly and like it doesn't affect our arm or something. You know, it's like we're one unit, we're unified. We've got a body within our skin. And I think it's the same way with the population of the world within, you know, the embodiment of our atmosphere, you know, and so forth. So I think this all works together. So the idea when we talk about our given gifts and talents, you know, it's our opportunity to check in with what do we feel we're going to do with our existence. I've said many times that, you know, my philosophy in life is that if I am so gifted today, right now, as I'm speaking to you, to be able to breathe this oxygen and to speak, I'm going to put it to good use. I'm all about the return on investment and things like that, the output from the input. And that's the opportunity we have. And if we have challenges, again, we have other people we can turn to help us be in existence, because we're like a user group. We're like 8 billion people that are a unified user group that we can all check in with each other and collaborate, like we say at HMP, and we can benefit from others demonstrating to us. So I talked about how I demonstrated, but those capabilities were because people demonstrated to me. And then we can replicate this. So wherever somebody's in the process, I propose optimism that I believe there's something great destined for everybody. And it's just that invitation to please check in with however you celebrate existence and just do the best you can and ask for help. I mean, I told you about the 20 people that helped me get to that more than sextupling these access to the sport of water skiing for people with disabilities in Wisconsin. It's because I had a group. You know, I'm able to tell the story and I instigated it, but this group got it done. And it's happening with or without me now. So how was that, Zita?
Wow. Awesome. That's what I call leadership. Because you, as a great leader, you initiated it, and here it is now blossoming with or without you. And really, that's a gift too. And I would like, before people make comments and wish Kat a happy birthday, let's just please, can you unmute and let's sing a birthday song for Kat. So when you unmute, you let's just collectively sing it. It's a common one. So let's get ready. 3, 2, 1, go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to dear
dear Kurt.
Happy birthday to you. Many more.
Thank you very much. So I'm turning 51 weeks into this. 51.
Actually, this is Bridget. I actually wanted, I'm so happy Sister Zita brought in this because I was going to sing him another version that he has never heard. I hope so. And before I sing, I wanted to say thank you. Thank you. We came in late. We apologize. So much stuff going on. And so I just wanted to say, we all what you said or what others Zita said, we can't thank you enough for the work that you do. Only God, who knows the inside of your heart and why you do it, he's going to bless you. So I'm going to sing something to thank God for you and for all of us, to really thank you for the gift of you and for coming on this podcast. You are a blessing. My voice, I can hear my voice, I've recorded something, so I'll try my best. Happy birthday to you. All of us sing and say, happy birthday to you. May our God bless you. May your path be always bright, bringing joy day and night. May your path be always bright, bringing joy day and night. We call upon the dead, your family, all those ancestors where you came from, that they will be with you as you move along in doing at 51, whatever, you're still a baby. You have a lot that God you have to achieve. All of us, Mary sing, bless wishes, bells ring. May God bless and reward your work and effort. May your path be always bright, bringing joy day and night. May your path be always bright, bringing joy day and night. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
Happy birthday.
That was
Very
you,
well done.
all right? Jeez, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Wow. So, Emily, you have something to say?
All I have to say is, wow. Woman.
We're all the women. Wow.
What did you say?
Happy early birthday, Kurt, or happy birthday.
Thank you very much, Emily. Appreciate it.
And wow.
Okay.
But thank you again for, yes, I know I've heard your story about it a million times by now, but I always love hearing it.
Well, it's good to know. Thanks, Emily. I'm sure you'll be hearing it a lot more yet in the years to come.
Yeah, as long as both of you work together, you're going to be hearing each other's story. I'm sure the feeling is mutual. But the whole thing here is we are so glad that Kat was born and that he is doing what God has assigned him to do, what I would call his life purpose. So I thank God for him, and also thank God for his gift in our midst. And hopefully we'll all continue to celebrate many more birthdays in the future. So thank you all. And I'm so glad you all joined us to celebrate Kat this evening. So as a reminder, our podcast is through the disability channel. And it's also in collaboration with Transform You Network and pACT. And we're so happy for the opportunity they have granted to us to reach our audience through this platform. And with this, I want to also remind you that our podcast is every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. On the 13th of December, we will not have a podcast because, and some of you have received the flyer and others will receive that in the future. The World of Women is through Zita's Healthy Beginnings, and a nonprofit organization benefits from an event, a holiday shopping event by the 10,000 Villages. 10,000 Villages is one of the international shops here in Pittsburgh, PA, and I believe it's all over the United States. They try to patronize our brothers and sisters who live outside the United States, especially in Africa and Southeast Asia, India, and places like that. They bring all their products, you name it, they have it. And most of these products are, all of them actually, they're all handmade, they're original, they are like sacred. When you feel and touch them, you know what I'm talking about. And they have online also, if you want to shop. So whatever anyone shops through this in their online or in person on the 30th of December from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Is when the shop is open. And between this time, if anyone does any shopping, they give Zita's Healthy Beginnings 15% of whatever it is that you pay. So they have really supported us all these years, and we are so thankful to them. And I will be at the shop with other board members to actually receive some of our friends who will be coming in to do some shopping in order to support us. So please do whatever you can do in sharing the flyer with your family, friends, your circle, your community, for them to reach out. This is their opportunity to really support Zita's Healthy Beginnings. As we do World of Women podcast, everything we do is free. And when you're doing a nonprofit, you're gonna really need a lot of money, not only money and other resources to really keep going. We are really hoping and trusting and praying for all our partners. And we know that God will continue to provide for you guys as you support us in this journey. So thank you all once again, and see you next week. Have a blessed night. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Nice party. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Nice to see you, Trevor. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.